now, you couldn't fly to Mars for $1 trillion. No amount of money could get you a ticket to Mars. So we need to get that above, to get that like something that is actually possible at all. But that's we don't just want to have, with Mars flags and footprints and then not come back for a half century like we did with the Moon. In order to pass a very important great filter, I think we need to be a multi-planet species. This may sound somewhat esoteric to a lot of people, but eventually, given enough time, there's something Earth is likely to experience some calamity. That could be something that humans do to themselves, or an external event like happened to the dinosaurs. But eventually, and if none of that happens, then somehow magic.
So I guess I'm talking about why I haven't done more with animals in general. Like,
probably Earth gets too hot for life in about 500 million years. It's a long time, but that's only 10% longer than Earth.
I guess I'm here to talk about
and so if you think about like
why I haven't had more hands-on with animals yet. Really so I have a YouTube channel about it for animals, and I've done pretty much everything I can for them as far as how I can, what my skill sets have been to get there.
Window of opportunity may be open for a long time, and I hope it is.
But I don't know.
Maybe open for a short time, and we should.
Right now, I'm trying to figure it out.
Act quickly while the window is open, just in case.
Yeah, the existence of nuclear weapons, pandemics, all kinds of threats.
Yeah.
Now I want to explain why I haven't had animals as much on my YouTube channel, because that's what it's been for. So if anybody's looking to it, they're saying, well, where's all the animals at? And it just seems to be you doing what. But I have a resume full of content directly with them, done the hard way, spent weeks with them, hours a day, getting to know them so I know what kind of animal they were. That's all been done, but it's been only done by one that I appreciate, but I'm not really ready for a multitude of reasons to go back. I'm accepted back. I just need to get a few things in order as far as what's right for me, and doing this endeavor the way I envision it for animals and how I see that it can get done. I want to be able to create content. I want to create content that's just small clips, about 2 to 3 minutes, and yes, there's educational things that are on there for longer, and that's one of the major problems that I've been having is the powers that be to be able to put up on their social media my videos, or at least meeting with me, or at least checking out my content, looking at where let me explain myself and show what I can do, what value I can have. That's why I quit 15 years earlier, because I didn't have any value other than labor. But that seems to be the only thing that I can get as far as interest. I mean, that's
financial perspective, human perspective, to get a large number of folks there who will return back to Earth.
No, they could certainly return. Some will return.
So I need people to see. I need the managers, whoever it is that can put up on their social media, whoever needs approval, to be able to look at my stuff. Let me pitch it. Give me 10, 15 minutes even. I haven't been able to find even 10, 15 minutes of anybody that will sit down and at least look at my material to see of what value it is. Let me kind of plead. Just give me about 30 seconds. I'm telling you, this is right behind me the best adoption tool ever created. I mean, it's like it's versatility mainly. I mean, you can stay in it, save money on hotel rooms, spend the money on the animals. It's got somewhat of a cultish following with van life. I mean, I've never really gotten into it, but it's there. I mean, and maybe I'll call on that when I can. But what I'm trying to do is to network everybody around so that they can find the right forever home, the best place for them, so that the animals actually get to their forever home,
Way too expensive.
and not have to go through separation anxiety. The separation anxiety is what really destroys an animal long term. If they have hope that they have someone that cares about them, whatever, and not every situation's perfect. You know, not every. You know, I went through spurts where.
This idea of what to spend or want to spend on a self-sustaining.
You know, I went through spurts where.
The key threshold.
Where I only spent about 2 hours with my dog a day, and even then it was just I was tired on my feet.
The city on Mars, it can survive even if the spaceships from Earth.
I went through spurts where I only spent about 2 hours a day with my dog. I would work and then I'd go work out.
Will it die out or will it not? And if there's even one critical ingredient,
I went through spurts where I'd only spend a couple hours a day with my dog, where I'd work out, run errands, and then by all that, I was working late, then still trying to work out. I mean, and then the end of all that, I just wanted to kick my shoes off and go to bed. I don't need to be so damn close.
Have a lot of momentum, and then you can say, okay, what is the minimum tonnage necessary to have a self-sustaining city?
So I'm here because I want to talk about why I haven't really had as much animal involvement yet, and why I've been kind of stalled out. If anybody's recently kind of viewing my videos and haven't seen any history, I do have a good resume of animal involvement, direct animal involvement, where I spent weeks with them. And my YouTube channel is not about just getting quick little videos. It's about actually helping the animals themselves through spending a lot of time with them. And that's, 6 weeks or so I'll spend with them, get to know them and whatnot, get material along the way, tell their story. Try to do that in a small amount of time, but part of the thing is that people are seeing that 2 minutes is all they want, all that anyone has the attention span for. The problem is that sometimes educationally you can't get.
So you did mention
Educationally, you can't get what you're after without spending a little time. You know, I mean, now my material is kind of long on the longer side of what a lot of people kind of use the platform for as in a common way. But what I put on there, the material I put on there is valuable and it's educational, and that's what I need people that at the shelters that have the access to networks. That can give me the subscribers so that then I can then move around. I could be versatile and mobile like the van is, to go from one shelter to the next and within a driving distance, because if a person is looking for the next 10-year commitment, it's worth it to actually go drive a little bit of a distance, maybe 5 hours or something like that, if you got the right animal that fits the right personality. Otherwise, they separation anxiety, and with that separation anxiety becomes a lot of distrust, and it just builds, and then it's harder and harder for them. And that's what I want to get across,
if this is possible,
is to
the amount of energy
people
required to warp space is so
that it is a long commitment. It is, and the love you share does come with sometimes vet bills and medication to give them on a daily basis that they don't want to take. You know, I mean, that's what part of being an owner is. It's not just the fun, the fun stuff, fun and fluffy stuff, and that's what it's I'm coming up against is the real world aspect, and trying to get that message across, telling the story of the animal start to finish, telling the story of
right now,
telling the story of the animal start to finish, showing who they are, what their personality is, what challenges they have. I mean, is it something that they can overcome, or are you just going to have to live with that because that's who they are? Things of that nature that will build the bond, but also be well informed about the animal that you're looking at. I mean, that could be the next 10-year commitment.
We get the big airplane back, but not the small airplane, and so it still costs a lot.
That's and I haven't been able to find people that first off
And then the
see the value in the long.
booster is not
it's-
as is not as rapidly and freely used.
And I'll say that it's been challenging trying to find,
You know, our minimum
administrators to a
flight is on the order of
a social network that has the backing, to give them that value, but also at the end say, hey, look, I mean, here's what I've been able to do. I'm going to go around to different shelters in the area within a driving distance. It's a service that we're all in it for the animals.
with full and rapid
I mean,
reusability,
if
we can reduce the cost per ton to orbit by a factor of 100.
because we
But
want
just
that,
think
so it
about,
doesn't matter if they get it from their shelter or not.
aircraft or something,
What
or
matters is that the
a car.
people get the right animal, and the
And
animal
if you
goes to the
had
right
to
home,
fly in
so
your
that they can
car
both
every
develop
time you
together.
went for a drive, it would be very expensive. Very silly, frankly. But, would you
And
conduct
I think
refueling
that
on
comes
the
with
charger?
education, and the education on the animal
Makes your trip
can't be done in just a minute sometimes. Sometimes it just doesn't show the animal itself. And I guess I
the
could
same
compromise
for,
and get down to
if
that,
you-
but
afraid
well,
to
first
take this
off,
complex
it's
machine
just
and go
tough
over it.
finding
And so if
groups, and
you
I'm so
cannot
thankful
reuse
for
it,
being
you
able to
have
find a
throw
group,
even
a
any
couple
part of
that
any
would
significant
actually
part of
do
the way
that,
massively
allow me to
increases
go
the
on. And
So,
my ideas are a little
Starship, in
bit
theory, could do
little
cost
bit
per launch
non-conventional when it
like
comes to
$1 million,
and
$2 million
it gets into the weeds on non-conventional, so I can understand how it just gets a little too much
put
and
over
not
100 tons
understood.
to orbit.
But I know that I have value, and I can build that by
You're saying like it's
by getting the trust, getting the trust of the people that I have the value, but then with that, so that they can just give me access and let me go. But to get there, I need people that actually are willing to start. I'm willing.
This is
Look at my content. Give me 10 minutes, 20 minutes, just to show you that I do good work, that I can edit when it needs to be to tell the story and quickly.
I know you've both been getting to Mars, but once we're there on Mars, what form of government, economic system,
So
political system do you
So
think
until then, I mean, this is what I do.
humans? I mean,
So until then, this is what I do. I mean, I go out by myself, I'm trying to figure things out. I'm a slow thinker, but I do a lot of it, so it kind of balances out. But I think about it. I think about what
these people are.
Well, it would be a new frontier and an opportunity.
I
to
come out by
rethink
myself,
the whole government,
and
just as was done.
I try to figure it out. I listen to podcasts, get my mind working in different ways, somewhat, and in a lot of ways I need more quiet time than I actually give myself.
Having
So
direct democracy, like people vote directly on things, as opposed to representative democracy. So,
but my whole idea has been to,
subject to.
I said to the same time Elon Musk did. That was awesome. But I'm listening to a podcast in the background. But that's what I'm trying to do, is get these animals once and for all and get it done wholesale. Love them in the time.
And then the laws must be short enough that people can understand them.
I want to love the animal in the time, but then move on quickly, get them to their home, and then move on.
The information about what they're voting for.
That's what matters, is getting them to the right place.
And not make it as annoying as those
And-
cookies where you have to accept the cookie.
If that's what I have to do,
Like,
I'll spend that time, and I want to spend. Is not just making videos in this respect. I mean, it is to get attention so that I can get eyes that say, I love animals, and okay, I'll look that direction, That's why I got the juggling pins. I mean, I figured that I would do it as a busk on the side of the road, which I still may. I still may get these out on the street, which I plan on doing, but that's going to be a little while.
Yes, you can have my damn cookie. I don't care. Whatever.
You heard it from Elon first. He accepts all
mean,
the damn cookies.
That'll be a little while before I'm just laughing at the podcast. Before I can, do this out live, but I'm going to plot. I'm going to be plotting.
Implementation of a good idea done really horribly.
Yeah, it's somebody who was like.
I'm gonna flex the freedoms that we do have for now, and I'm gonna put myself in every public situation that I can, and put myself as much in the middle of it
There is
and I'll
like,
just be mapping it out and saying, hey, look, you love animals.
Because we've not really had a major, like a world war or something like that in a while, and obviously we'd like to not.
And I'll say, hey, look, you love animals, jump on the channel. Because if I get more people on the channel, that means that that I can go around to different groups and I have that value. And then I can collaborate. I can interview other groups. Why are you doing what you're doing? Can you show me your place? Hey guys, this is really close by. It's within about a 5-hour driving distance, you know. And then once I prove that it works, once I get the viewership on that, then I can get monetized. And if I can get enough monetization, then I can start buying land. I can start buying off-grid plots. The things I read, the reason I learned,
be immortal, because some of the rules and regulations that are
the reason I learned how to do with the solar and everything, is so that I can buy cheap land, but then expand my energy sources independently without being tied down and having to pay tax on it or some kind of fees or whatever the case is, you know. So that's what I'm trying to do is get off-grid as possible, so that I can buy cheaper land in strategically different places and then build them up.
And regulators and legislators.
After I sold my house
every year
for the van,
put effort into removing them. And
that was part of the plan, but everything ran over budget and over time, so I didn't get a chance to.
Interests that then are dependent on, like they have a vested interest in that. Whatever.
So I didn't get a chance to buy the land, which I was hoping to, maybe in Arizona or New Mexico, somewhere there, buy a plot of and just a couple acres, cheap land where I want what nobody else wants, because if
There's not any garbage collection built in. I think there should be.
Because if somebody comes after it,
garbage collection, I love it.
because of its desirability, I want to be able to use the benefits of it being set up so that it's valuable for me to be on land that's not valuable to other people. That creates more value to me personally, because I know it's not going to be messed with. There's more security in that. And then plus it'll be an off-grid situation that, you know, spring water, something that have with the one thing that,
so yeah, something needs to happen.
so spring water,
Civilization's arteries just harden over time, and you can just get less.
so
and less done.
spring water, something that the animals will need, but I can get the power, and if it's in a,
And we're reporting plastic bottles as well. Like, I think there should be an active process for removing the rules and regulations and questioning their existence.
and if I can get the
Like, if we've got a function.
if I can get the water, I should be able to get everything else. You know, I can get the power, I can get the structures built, I can get the mechanisms for
That's the rules and regulations.
just for the structure, so that the animals can live in peace. They don't need nearly the conveniences that we do. So, you know, use that in raw nature, and then have a transport system.
And it's just, it makes it hard for things to progress.
And then have a transport system.
I don't know, maybe you have like
You know, these are the ideas that I want on a large scale, on a countrywide scale. I don't know any other countries right now, so I can't think about how it would work anywhere else. But I might as well start where I can, and right now it's on the west part of the country. And if that's what it is, then that's what it is for now, and that's great, as long as I get started and get progress done, get these animals you know, adopted by wholesale, and then prove its worth.
Maybe it's like
Hopefully by viewership first, and then collaborations, and then more viewership, and then the money to put into land. I'll put it as a nonprofit. I don't care. I'm fine with this going as a nonprofit, as long as
there's like a row of urinals. The guy just walks all the way across, and he tells you about crypto.
I mean, that's happened to me so many times. I think maybe even literally.
And I'm fine for this as a nonprofit. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I've spent everything I have personally on it. I didn't know how to be a nonprofit. I don't think that way very much. Grant writing, all that stuff kind of skeezes me out. But it needs to be done, and it needs to be done right. you know, but it's part of the game is contract writing, but or grant writing, excuse me. Probably contract writing too.
So
I'm too
But
dumb to ask
I don't know what, you know, I don't know how to get their attention yet. And I don't want to then make first contact unfounded and just quickly and not thought out and not prepared. You know, so I know that I'm going to still need to make.
Very short and simple, plain language. And just make sure.
So I know that I'm still going to need
this
to
is the
make
deal.
more
Is everyone-
content.
is it clear?
I still need to make more content
and
the
what are
right way
consequences
that explain the
for things that
message
happen?
as a resume format. I have my LinkedIn
Usually
profile all
deals
set.
are,
So I should be,
business deals or whatever
you know,
are
professionally
a
set
way
that I can
too
start making
long and
videos
complex and
professionally
overly
based.
wired and pointlessly.
You know, YouTube videos and then posting them on
mentioned
there,
that,
looking for
there was
investors.
just
I'm going to be looking for
the
investors.
Bitcoin.
You know, I don't
And
necessarily
you said that
always
you were
need
literally going SpaceX
to move up
may
anyways. I mean, I still need the
consider literally
viewership.
putting,
It has a value in and of
Dogecoin
itself,
on
or multiple
the moon.
values.
Is this something
But
you're still considering?
but
Mars?
sponsor,
Do
if that
you
came,
think there's
then I
some
can
chance
actually
of
get
talk about political systems on
I can get
Mars
funded
that,
to
Dogecoin
do this
is
right and not think about the money so
official
much and just
currency
do
of
it full
Mars at some
time.
point in the future?
Time and
Well,
working hour for
I think
hour
Mars
is what
itself will
is what
need to have a
prevents
different currency
a life from
because
being able
you
to
can't
actually
synchronize Judas' speed of
do
light.
their
Well, not
thing.
easily.
So it must be
I mean,
completely
it's
standalone from Earth.
I just can't work hour for hour. My mind doesn't
Well,
work
yeah,
that
'cause
way. I just don't know how to make it. I didn't know how to make
Mars
money,
is
so I need to try to
closest
figure out
approach.
how
It's
to
400
attract
minutes away,
and show the
roughly,
value
and
to
then
somebody that
at
does
best
know how to make
approach,
money
it's
and that
roughly
does want to
24
help
minutes away.
to partner
Maybe a
with
little
me
more.
as a resource.
So you can't really have something synchronizing, you know. If you've
But
got
that's what
20
I need
minutes
is to
speed of
show
light,
myself as a resource,
1 minute blockchain.
and then
It's not going to synchronize properly.
that's when the value.
so
After I
possibly-
show value, then I can
I
get
don't
the
know if
value
Mars
for it,
will
or then I
have
can
to
get
thing,
the
but probably seems
whatever.
likely.
But
But it would be some kind of localized thing on Mars.
And you let the people decide.
Yeah.
But I want to get
absolutely.
moving, but I have to come up with the ideas,
picture of Mars
and I'm
with
not very good at the ideas.
Yeah.
But
But I think the cryptocurrency thing is an interesting.
the ideas do come, so I do
approach
need to
to
actually get things moving in that
reducing
regard.
The error in
But
the database that is.
I don't know. This is what I do. I come out here, and I talk about. I think about what needs to be done and what I can do, what I'm good, what I'm not good at, what I am good at, and I just try to roll with that. But it takes me a while to figure that out.
Right now, the money system is actually for transparency purposes is really a bunch of heterogeneous.
I can't really rely on just
Okay, you mean literally?
friends to push the channel or what. I mean, I think that it's worthy enough. I've spent over 100,000 on this thing, or at least to get it going. I don't know what else to do yet.
Not even 4 times cobalt. Yeah.
I do plan on transcending back to Wiley.
And banks are still buying mainframes in 2021 and running ancient COBOL code.
I am transcending back to
and,
Wiley. I think that with the right, I'll say since the inward now would be a boost, but not necessarily talking about the vaccine itself, but as a booster to doing it the right way. I plan on changing my diet, being healthy as I can be come April, because I want to actually.
This increases the error in the database that is money. So I think.
So come April, come May, I believe, because I have a comic book show to go to help out with. Come mid-April in Anaheim. And after that, then I want to go to. Then I want to go to back to Rachel, where they have the BLM land, where I can get away. Plan to be fully stocked so that I can work on meditation more.
And then say what system.
Once I get to that point where I can get all the material out of my body, that's the cannabis, the cannabis. The food, the inhibitors, try to eat more organic, the best I can, that best I can trust, I suppose, that's organic, and then
money supply has basically
and then I have and then
So
by the
both
third day of
policy in
fasting,
terms
I
of
believe, generally
inflation
speaking,
and
all the
actual,
material is
like,
out of my body. I plan
technological
on doing this.
cobalt. Like cryptocurrency takes us into the 21st century in terms of the actual systems that allow you to do the transactions.
So
to
once,
go off of those kinds of things.
once I have all the material out of my body, I'll end
Like
up
I said, think of
fasting.
money as information. People often will think of money as.
Well, I'll end up
power.
I'll end up fasting so that once the
It does not. Money is information, and it does not have power. In
so I'll
itself.
end up fasting so that all the material's out of my body,
Applying the
and then I'm left with
rules.
nothing,
So
just
thinking about
but
this is
water. You know,
helpful. If you are
is
stranded
what's-
on a tropical island, and you have $1 trillion, it's useless.
so I'll get all the material out of my body,
There's no resource
and then
money is a database of resources. But there's no resource
once all the material's out, then I can at least kind of, that's like one of the first steps, I believe, to being able to see what else is out there, kind of lift the veil, is not having, kind of like the term Yarwitji, is not having the veil of material in around you if you don't have it in you.
So like just think of money.
That's kind
as,
of the rough idea of what I've learned from people that I believe are smarter than me with the credentials to back that up. So,
and then what's the sum?
and so I, you know, I
in what form should that
I just want to.
database or data system, what would be most effective? Now, there is a fundamental issue with, say, Bitcoin in its current form, in that.
But you know, the showmanship is something that I just felt like I've kind of had to be a part of. I don't want it to be about that I have to be personality-wise. Like this is what I've enjoyed doing. I've enjoyed.
Transactions is too long, much longer than you'd like. So it's actually not great from.
I've enjoyed learning group fitness training,
So it is.
knowing that I can affect more people in 1 hour than just a hour for hour basis of help at a shelter. If I can get kids to volunteer with me or something, or to help build something for the shelter, they're affecting the lives of the animals. It helps build who they are character-wise. I think that's just common sense necessarily, other than trying to
two technologies on top of that.
find the science of it. But
it's kind of
helps build character. So
database, what
I
kind
think-
of infrastructure enables.
Yeah, you say like you're operating an economy.
So I wanna
and you
get-
have something that it allows for the efficient.
I want to build.
to
I want
have
to change.
efficient, value
the-
ratios between products.
I want to change the ideals of what people on a mass scale think of animals. If I just, I want to get them to their homes, but I also want to show other people that it's good to be good to animals. I saw a podcast where somebody that worked in the Facebook censoring area, and part of that,
and then something that
like a
allows
whole-
you to shift obligations across time, like debt and equity.
like
shift
Facebook has a
obligations across
whole
time. Then what does the best job of that?
area where they censor.
Part of the reason why I think there's some merit to Dogecoin.
Like Facebook has a whole department where they censor some of the horrific things that people do to get likes.
It actually does.
And a lot of that is hurting animals.
Transaction volume, capability. of
They'll
Bitcoin,
do things that
and
are
the
not
cost
sensible,
of doing
not for the
transactions.
sensibilities of just
Dogecoin fee is
everyday
very low. Like
everyday
right now, if you
people.
want to
I'm saying
Bitcoin
Americans because that's all I know
prices
as far as
during
what
that transaction is very high.
I know it's
So
much
you don't-
worse in other areas as far as
most things.
lifestyle, but not necessarily a taboo. I think it's more of a taboo thing over here because it's not. Dogfighting can be claimed as cultural, but anyhow, I want to affect the best that I can.
I mean, it's just way worse.
But
So like having a small block size or whatever it is.
but that's.
Synchronization.
So I've been trying to put all these skills together, but I don't know how to then, now that I have a proof of showing at least one of them. The highlight reels are just one piece of what I want to do. I want to create a network, both on and off the grid.
And I think there's some value to having
And I want to create a network that's that's on and off the grid.
So for some amount of the currency, you'd like if a currency is too deflationary.
I want to
or-
create a
or
network
should
that's
say,
on and off the grid,
if
so
a
that
currency is
animals
increasing value
animals
over
get a
time,
chance
there's reluctance to spend it.
to
Because they're
to
like,
conveniently
if I
be, and we cover more
just
area
don't
where
spend
there's
it
more
because
animals.
it's
I
increasing
mean,
over
it's.
time. So if I spend it now, then I will regret spending it. So I'll just,
I want to show.
But if there's some dilution.
So
of
I
the
guess I'm
currency
in
occurring,
between
then that's
the
more of an
opportunity
incentive
to
use it as a
show the work
currency.
itself, show the value, show
Dogecoin
where it's
so
going.
randomly has,
I plan on a lot of things. I plan on
just a number of.
I plan on an app
coins
that
or
is a living app
strings.
that has updated information on who to contact, even a backup. One for wildlife. You know, when you see when you see an injured animal on the side of the road.
Fixed number, so the percentage of inflation will necessarily decline.
And I have ideas for an app that would be a living document to show who at that time is able to take in animals. Wildlife, specialize in certain animals, birds. The people in the area, or who else to contact if it's midnight or something and one person just doesn't wake up to their phone. Is there somebody else that they can contact? Because there's nothing worse than seeing an injured animal on the road and not knowing what to do. I mean, I would think that even stewards of hunting would think that it's a good thing to help the ones that aren't under that regulated path, rather than to show them a lack of mercy, even just because maybe they go out and they kill an animal for food. So I'd like to see that. I'd like to see a training program. I'd like to see a training program.
You can look at the evolution of ideas.
I'd like to see a training program. I want to see a group fitness program that I can do mobily from the van.
See who wrote.
And really, the group fitness training is basically just just as an excuse to advertise the program that I'm coming for their kids. You know, a single mom like I was raised, a lot of the way, anyhow. I didn't, you know, I mean, it's good to have programs. She put me through programs, football programs, whatever, camps. And that was just to help me out. That was just to improve my character, and I think it helped. So
it's not perhaps like.
I mean, these things are important, and
figures involved in the evolution of ideas.
And I think that having that kind of a program where I'm coming down for a few weeks to help animals, and they can continue, and then maybe I can find somebody that wants to continue the work and the videoing and whatnot. But if I can connect the network, one rescue and shelters network to another county's shelter and network, then they can communicate about about every, communication just the start to a successcul business. I mean, it's or at least a partnership, and if they can partner together more easily. But I'll do that with videos on the animals.
Autopilot. Tesla Autopilot. Tesla Autopilot has been through an incredible journey in the last 6 years. Or perhaps even longer in your mind and the minds of many involved.
I think that's what we're talking about connected with autopilot stuff, autonomy. And
the whole journey was incredible to me too. I was because I knew
So I don't know what I'm
computer vision,
how I'm supposed to go about it, but I just feel that the best thing right now is to, until I get an actual plan, hopefully before the comic book show, because I have a comic book show coming up to help Daniel with at Rated Comics, which is a lot of fun, but it's all challenging too. But then we did our first show. Now we learned from that, and then we're going to go on to do a better. Then we're going to go on to do a bigger show, a much bigger show, and we've learned a lot, and he wants to kind of fix the mistakes, and I'm going to go back and help him early, you know, so that there's a couple months ahead. Plus I talked to him about learning VR. So I want to learn VR, or I want to learn the metaverse.
The mobile thing, it doesn't just work by itself.
So I'm going to go back to learn the metaverse, and in the metaverse,
sometimes at first you kind of see what's out there and then you decide to from scratch. That was one of the boldest decisions I've seen. Is both on the
I think that
hardware and
eventually the
software
metaverse
side
will
to
be
go from scratch.
much better as far as quality is concerned for leisure, but I think
Because it's such a difficult problem. And so it was an incredible journey. What I see now with everything, the hardware, the compute, the sensors,
but I think with the
things
metaverse,
I maybe care and love about most is the stuff that Andre Karpathy is leading with the data set selection.
but what I
the whole
care
data
about for the
engine process,
metaverse
the neural
is
network architectures,
that
the way that's
it
in the
is
real
going to be the
world,
new
that network is
way that
tested,
people
validated,
conduct
all the
commerce,
different test sets,
that can go to the store and see
versus the
what's in
internet
store.
model, computer vision, like
The
what's
education is going to be
academia,
learned
this
remotely
real
in a lot of ways that way.
artificial intelligence. So-
You know, it's just going to grow and grow and grow.
Andre's also, and
So
obviously plays an important role, but we have
So I want to learn that, and I also want to be somewhat of a one-on-one instructor, and then I want to be the first dealer with Daniel.
Andre's sort of director of AI.
Daniel's actually open to
So, yeah, there's-
looking at it, where if I can.
A lot going on.
Yeah, just you know, obviously people will give.
So Daniel's one of the first that when I first learn it,
So
when I first learn the metaverse, then I can show him that then it's worth investing a couple.
the AI team is extremely talented. It's like some of the smartest people in the world.
And then once I learn the
Yeah, okay.
metaverse,
What are some insights
I'll be able
you've
to
gained over
show
those
people, and then Daniel,
5-6
once
years of
I
autopilot
prove to Daniel that I
about
can
the
learn
problem of autonomous driving?
how to use the metaverse
So
good enough to
you
instruct
then
it.
Having some sort of first principles kinds of intuitions, but nobody knows how difficult the problem,
Yeah,
like the problem.
I thought the self-driving problem would be hard, but it was harder than I thought. It's not like I thought it would be easy. I thought it would be very hard, but it was.
So once I
actually
learn
harder
enough
than-
about the metaverse that I can that I
Right,
can
what it
show
comes
other
down to
people how to
is
use it
this whole
in a way that's still ahead of the curve. So even if I just learn how to navigate it, just like you would your internet browser,
need to recreate what humans do to drive, which is humans drive.
so even if I learn the metaverse just like my internet browser well enough, then I can navigate other people through it that have never seen it. Plus, we could be the first dealer of it. But the first step is convincing. I need to convince Daniel that
neural nets.
I need to convince him that I can learn it well enough that we can then be a dealer of it, and I can actually take over that area, the department, until maybe I can teach. So once I learn to navigate it, then I can teach him how to navigate it.
Advanced neural nets in silicon form.
And I think that once he learns how to navigate it, then if he gets another headset, or that we can do off-site
aspects of human nature, machine,
remote
right? So you have to solve the perception
help
problem.
with other people, but then also they can integrate their they can integrate
Perception problem for driving, all the kinds of things.
how they're
Like, what
presenting.
do we even look at when we drive?
But once they become a dealer of it, though,
Recently,
that we can have a test machine where I can show people as they come into the comic book store, and then we can have all the local comic book movies or whatever's coming out, the trailers or something, and show them how to navigate that, you know, so they can get to.
That's the perception problem. We humans solve that perception problem, and Tesla has to solve that problem. And then there's the control and the planning coupled with the perception. You have to figure out like
So
what's involved in driving.
and then I can
like,
teach them how to
especially all
use
the
it.
different
But then
edge
once I
cases.
learn it myself, I can actually be an
maybe you can
employee
comment on this.
teaching and instructing in the metaverse. So whatever capacity, you know, that my ability would allow me to, how much I'd learn about it, and what, you know, what value I have in instructing it. But I can do that as a regular job, which that's where we're going anyways. So I might as well jump into the new technology that's going to be very commonplace, and a lot of people are going to want to know how to learn how to use VR. Plus, NFTs. buying the NFT to certain like if I was to GoPro drone GoPro the area, let's say down in Olympia, Washington, where I know it's just the head or the beginning of the Puget Sound.
So it's a lot of free software, man.
And to be able to actually GoPro that, which means that anybody that wants to travel by VR in the future, which means that I could buy that land. Maybe I could buy it from the city. If the city would recognize the purchase, if the city could recognize the purchase, it would be legal tender for to show that I own that piece of property. And if I
in image space, and
if I own that in the metaverse, that would I believe what I'll learn is that nobody else can copy over that area. Then that real estate itself would be mine, and if I want to sell to a company that develops travel, VR traveling guides, that I'm sure there's going to be a lot of companies out there developing traveling guides, like publishers of some kind. If they wanted that to be in the travel section, they would have to pay me for that, and then I would hold the license to that. But I think now's the time to use that, not silly crypto punks and kitties and stuff. I'm not looking about that. I'm thinking it's going to be the new ticket. It's going to be the new concert ticket to show proof of getting in. All that's going to be digital, and you're not going to have a stub anymore. So that's where NFTs are going in the business room. But right now it's still early. Everybody's just looking at these crypto kitties or whatever that are going for millions of dollars through probably laundering. But nobody's looking at, but people aren't buying up that land, or at least it's not at the value yet. People are going crazy over buying next to Snoop Dogg or buying the Budweiser can or something, the original Budweiser can, something like that. But not really looking at the other aspects that they aren't looking at, and I don't think they're looking at the cheap.
Blind spot. Do you see your blind spot? No. You're missing the blind spot. You're gonna do these these things online where you look here and look at this point.
But maybe like a lookout point overlooking major cities. Nobody's thinking about. I don't think anybody's thinking about that and buying those up. So once, if I can buy some of those and then sit on those for cheap, eventually.
Amount of post processing on the vision signals for your eye.
Eventually, any tourist guide is going to want to get in on that.
Once you get all those vision signals, your brain is constantly.
Virtually any tourist guide, any virtual tourist guide is going to want to get in on that.
Perhaps the weakest thing about the brain is memory. So because memory is so expensive to your brain and so limited, your brain is trying to forget as much as possible and distill the things into the smallest amounts of information possible. So your brain is trying to not just get to a vector space, but get to a vector space that is the smallest possible vector space of only relevant objects. And I think you can sort of look inside.
So I'm here to show where I'm trying to take this whole animal thing. Why I've done this and why it's been my goal for the last 15 years. I've shown the work. If nobody's followed me along the way or seen the videos, which they haven't been viewed much, I have the proof in the channel. Like the channel has enough videos.
Head is like basically have like 2 cameras on a slow gimbal.
So if someone's seeing this for the first time, they're thinking, well, how's this about animals? I have the proof in the channel. Like a lot of my previous videos that I have in different playlists that are strictly for the animals, of the videos that I've put on for the animals, are there in the channel under Rescues playlist. And I want to link those here. This may be a good time to actually say that I'm going to be linking the videos. So check these out, you know, because I'm showing where I'm going.
So you're glancing around, and what your mind's doing
Let's see.
is
So I'm showing where I'm going with it. I'm showing what I'm doing. I'm showing what I've done. So what I've done so far shows as a resume. It shows where I'm taking it.
editing that down to the least amount that's necessary for you to drive.
It does seem to be able to edit it down or compress it even further into
And I have two channels. I have two channels. I have the one that's basically showing the storyline, me doing this, me being in transition to actual direct animal content. And then the one, and All For Them 100 is the channel that is going to be dedicated. Now I've only moved a handful of videos over there, but they are purely just that channel. Now I would have left them on my channel, but I didn't know enough about YouTube at the time. So I did. Then I later found out, as long as I give myself permission to do that from one channel to the next. But it's not a problem. Actually, I didn't know that.
Those vector spaces. So like, you know, like if like you drive past, say a bus, and you see that there's people before you drove.
Traffic's
past the bus,
picking up.
Just imagine there's like a large truck or something blocking sight. But
the day before yesterday, traffic was not this bad.
In front of the truck. Now you can no longer see the kids. But
day before yesterday, traffic was not this tight.
Like passed by the truck across the road. You don't see them. So you have to have.
The day before yesterday, traffic was not
You need to remember the little kids
this tight. There's a lot of four-wheeling. This is like a four-wheeling hotspot for sure. I'm just doing my thing, but yeah, it's all over the place out here. Anyhow, I'm here to show about my animal channel. I'm trying to explain why.
Yeah, we're doing it.
I understand this.
Yeah.
So some of it.
It's like happens with the humans when
So anyway, I'm here to explain about my animal channel. I mean, why I'm actually doing all this. Why I don't have animals right now in my channel. How this is kind of building the storyline. I'm still trying to figure out how to get people just to initially look at that have the networks to say, hey, look, I can come in, spend some weeks with you with the animals, learning the animals, getting content on them, showing who their personality is, and then create networks that also then also jump on other networks so that I can show. So then I can show.
That's an important problem to solve.
Yes,
So I'm trying to combine networks. I want to get the right animal to the right home by showing who they are. But then that new family member, that new parent might be in the county just above them, but they don't know that because they're not on the same network that see the same animals. And you can go to Pet Finder, and that's great. But if you have the ability to link a video that shows the personality real time of who the animal is, then I think that's just more information so that you're making the right decision for a lifetime member. I mean, we're talking 10 years plus. An animal, is going to be your family member potentially. So, through the ups and downs, and it's good to know not just the fluffy stuff about how cute they are, but who the animal actually is. Show what they're like, what they enjoy, and what is going to be challenges to deal with. What are the things that they're going to be able to learn past, but not. But sometimes, they just won't be able to get past it, and you just have to say, hey, look, I accept that. This is my animal through and through. This is my family member through and through. With that philosophy is that, hey, look, we're not perfect, neither is the animal.
It's an incredible process. It's this iterative process.
So
it's this hydrant of
it's good to learn.
We're changing the name to something else.
Okay. I'm sure.
It's good to learn who the animal is, but I want to show that in an entertaining way that with some humor.
The neural net mess in the cars so many times.
But I want to do that, and then
Every time there's a new major version, you'll rename it to something more ridiculous.
but I want to do that in a humorous way. I'm no comedian, but I think I can bring some levity to the situation and keep it moving. You know,
Neural nets.
show the video. Make the right cuts that explain the things. I'm not worried about showing that I made a cut. I'm worried about making sure the message is seamless. You know, there's not a lot of downtime to explain this. That's why, with these,
that were basically image recognition.
even with these videos, I want
from a
to
single
get
camera.
across. I'm going to
And
cut
then,
these up. I don't really care if I show that
get those
obviously
together.
I've started a new session on you know, messing with the pins.
I
I've thought about it as far as how's it going to matter with getting the message across, and it doesn't. Where I cut it, as long as it looks okay and it doesn't distract from the message, then it's just eye candy. It's eye candy to promote. That's why I did the wall.
on a C compiler that'll compile directly to our autopilot hardware.
So you want to compile the whole thing down and with your own compiler.
Yeah,
Like so, efficiency here, because there's all kinds of computers.
That's why I did the wall in the van, or I did my the wall or the panels in the van or whatever with stickers, is because I could use that as a backdrop. If I can use the van as a backdrop, just to catch the eyes, and then once they're there, then say, okay, look,
bare metal level. Because we're trying to do a lot of.
and then say, hey, look, what.
to
I mean, you know, do you love animals? Do you want to see them get adopted to their forever home? Then jump on the channel. You know, I want to be doing a lot of different things. Obviously, you know, I'm into the motorcycle rally. There's a motorcycle enthusiast. Probably, you know, some of the toughest guys in the country, and some of them like animals. You know, some of them want to see them get adopted, and
so there's actually a lot of work done by very talented social
and I enjoy juggling. So if I get into a juggling community or something, and then they can, you know, say, hey, look, you guys like animals too? You want to see them get adopted? You know, like pull from different genres.
Doing matrix math dot products, like a bazillion dot products. It's like,
But you know, I mean, at some point, once I get the value that I'm in the shelters and I'm known enough to where it's like, okay, I see what you've done. It's been around, you've been recommended. I don't have to worry about pitching it as much anymore. I don't have to worry about trying to get people's attention. I just do it. I just get in there and, hey, look, you know, it's my work has shown for itself, so then I just stop doing a lot of this. If it works as far as gaining viewership and more support and helps influence the change of how people see animals, is, you know, I mean, that's, I'm not talking about whether or not they see them to eat them, which is also there too. That's definitely a factor. But I want to be able to show that change the culture, change why people do what they do. You know, to animals, or just neglectfully, then they change. Hey, look, maybe I should let him in a little bit more when it's cold outside, or maybe I should kind of build a little shed or a dog house for him or something when he's outside. You know, I mean, if I can change that thought and then make those little changes that help the animal, then why? That's all the better. Then I mean, that's what I want to do is affect the change and the ideal and how people react. You know, those little incremental changes. You know, so but I want to show that through. Direct help to the animals, but I want to move past that. I love the animals, and I want to, and I can't wait to have more contact than I've had before already. But I want to pass this on. I want to show that it's valuable. I actually want to.
Cameras and there's roughly, I don't know, 1.5 milliseconds.
By transcending back to Wiley and hopefully give him my body to let him either take this on or whatnot.
Going to just
for him to take this on, or I come back hopefully with information, or maybe nothing happened, and I guess, you know, then that's information in and of itself. So I mean, I'm very open to the possibilities, and I do believe I do believe those things are possible, but I don't know if I'm right for that. I don't know that I'm have any other design other than just to not experience the things that maybe I've heard of that I'm looking to and that I've read about and that I believe in. You know, that have changed the way I believe, and even physically patterns that create involuntary reactions in myself emotionally that I can't explain when I talk and I think about and I focus on my plans. You know, it's just right to me, and those are some of the things that I can explain that maybe are relatable to other people as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. But my first thing is to transcend back to Wiley, to give him my body, so that I can move on and that he can be here, because he was taken too early, and I've seen everything I need to, and I'm fine with that. I'm actually blessed and feel blessed that I haven't had a family and kids, and that this was part of my path, and I really don't want to grow old.
A series of other computers, and finally to an actuator of the car. If you have a stack up of,
and I really don't want to grow old. I'm done. I'm tired of it.
Quite a variable latency, which
I really don't want to see that side of things. But I do need to be healthier, and I need to get ready as soon as possible for Wiley. If I can offer my vessel to him, then maybe he continues this as a supernatural being. You know, but if he continues this as a supernatural being, then maybe that would be better, you know, like he would make better decisions that would help humanity, or at least help animals, that I would hope that he coming from the animal situation, that he would be able to do that. And I want to be sure that I'm as well equipped as possible. I want to make sure that I do what's necessary. You know, I want to look more into what I believe is when I want to look into my belief that the moon has the most polarization or something on the 12th, the 11th and 12th of every month, based on where the moon's at. You know, I don't know much about it yet, but I believe that you know, I mean, obviously it can't hurt to do it those 2 days, you know, or to schedule out so that when I'm all the way down to no material in my body after 3 days of fasting at least, that I'll be able to then, you know, boost myself up to Wiley. So that's
yeah, the car's just going to fundamentally maneuver better. The cars will maneuver with.
And if I do find Wiley, or if I don't find Wiley, maybe I'll find answers as to how I'm supposed to live my life so that I can do it best, you know, in honor of him, you know, because I do feel that was one of the greatest loves I've ever felt, and it wasn't easy, and it wasn't fluffy. Yeah, we had cuddle time and whatnot. He scratched the hell out of me, and you know, and that was just part of what I went through with him, and I think he knew that, and he was him. And it's just that, and I accepted that full-heartedly, and that's. I just think that it was too early because of my laziness to get up and see to it that he was back in the van, and maybe some kind of system to where, you know, he's harnessed or something. I never harnessed him. I just didn't feel that it was right. But the way we were living, I
level beyond which they can do their own. They can read a book.
But the way we were living, I just don't know how to do anything out. You know, how else I could have done it right with him, because that's how he wanted to live. I think, you know, he got the chance to go chase seagulls on one of the main beaches in San Diego, like Mission Beach, I think. You know, he was. That's who he was. You know, I mean, he was just that kind of kiddo that he wanted to do it that way. You know, he wanted to explore, and he just wasn't having any part of. He wasn't having any part of going to, you know, going on a leash or going, you know, just being restricted too much. I mean, he wanted to be out.
The probability of an accident on FSD is less than that of the average human, and then significantly less than that of the average human. So
So I don't know.
It's
That's
only-
just what I'm thinking, and that's what I'm
like
doing.
we'll
So
get there
um,
next year.
hopefully, it is what it is.
And
And
then of course,
and,
then there's going to be a case of, okay, well, we now have to prove this to regulators and prove it to,
I guess-
and we want a standard that
I don't know.
is
I figured
not
I was
just
out here. I
equivalent
didn't
to
have.
human, but, much better than the average human. I think it's got to be at least 2 or 3 times higher safety than a human. So 2 or 3 times lower probability of injury than a human.
Anyhow, I was out here and I figured, why not?
Say like it's okay, guys, it's not going to be equal like that, much better.
But anyhow, I was out here. It's a nice day.
Just came out.
Just hanging out, just kinda-
I'm
I'm just trying to think about what's best.
On the way
I mean, my plan is to
We were hoping
Work
to
with
get a
Daniel
this year,
and-
but it's
learn
it
VR.
actually has a whole bunch
You know,
of-
half and half of the day or so. You know, get him ready for the show in April, which is going to take a good month or 2 or so of actual, you know, of decent work a day to see that happen. So, yeah, that'll be fun. Plus, I'll be learning the skill, and if as long as I show him that I can do the program and it's going to be beneficial and profitable to him,
single stack.
you know, he'll get a couple headsets. He'll get a couple headsets, and
And
I'll teach him on it. It'll be, you know, we'll clean them up every day, sanitize them. Use one for for guests that want to come in and learn VR and the comic book. You know, we can show people how to do it through a comic book lens, so to speak. You know, if they come into the comic book store, you know, integrate it somehow so that it's a full circle knowledge. So
It's basically taking a whole bunch of C code and leading
But-
a massive amount of C code and replacing it with a neural net. And you know, Andre makes this point.
and
a lot
I hope that
because
if I
the
get
neural
the
nets are gonna
viewership,
be
if I get
easy to solve.
viewership for
You know, over time,
Um,
it's like less and less conventional software, more and more neural net.
if I get viewership for
So conceptualized software. It's more neural net stuff.
if I get
and
viewership
less,
for the YouTube channel, then I can monetize it to the point where I know, I got a big idea that I want to take Elon Musk up on Neuralink, you know, and maybe work out a deal with him. Say, hey, look, you know, don't have family, don't have anything of that going for me, so you know, to where I need to be around for, or be my, you know, myself for, so to speak. I know that I can be a big asset for him with Neuralink, and that's what he's talking about right now. If it makes it into the mic.
A giant bag of points to the C++ code. We call it the giant bag of points.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you got a pixel.
But that's what I want.
and-
I want
and-
to
and something associated
show.
with that pixel. Like this pixel is probably car. This pixel is probably lane.
But I
line.
want to be able to
then
make
you
a
go to
deal with
assemble this
him
giant bag of
that
points
once I show
in the
proof
C
through,
code
like if I have 1
and
million
turn it
subscribers,
into,
then I know that he would come on my channel. He would come on my channel, and I could do an interview with him, or at least that I can get an audience with him for $1 million. If that's part of the deal, to say, hey, look, I will. You know, if I can get 1 million subscribers, I'll do, and I'll make a deal with him, and he can create the fleet. I can show him what my value is with the animals, and that he can create Tesla vans. I know that he's kind of said that he would like to look into reasons to have Tesla vans.
But this will be just this is a game changer to.
I know Elon said that he would like to look into reasons to have Tesla vans, and I think that he would like the idea of vans going out there showing what they've got in a constructive way. You know, I mean, even just helping the animals would be his excuse. Not that he even has that much invested personally into a cause like that, but it would be a good excuse for a good reason to showcase those vans. You know, so it'd be a good collaboration, and I think that would, you know, for a fleet that is set up, funded for the next 5-10 years or so, that would be enough. That would be more value than I think that I could probably create myself.
Constructing the vectors.
But once I get to
in C, we've done, I think, quite a good job.
But I kind of have to start with first things first. And first things first is get the viewership. And once I get the viewership, then I get funded. Once I get funded,
this is really a big deal.
But really, I mean, once I get the viewership, I don't get funded much. But the good thing is, though, is that I have, you know, if I have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 subscribers that view,
and all of the training needs to move
that
just
right
around
there.
here, and the efficiency of the training it needs to get better, and it is. And then we need to move everything to.
That means that that a few hundred see it, at least, let's say, 3, 4, 500 see it, and then hopefully, you know, if they're motivated by the cause,
It's just quite a big reset on the
you know, then they'll hit that subscribe button to the other channel, to their channel. So then I send other people over to their channel,
to train against
and then it strengthens everybody by network, but also by value as well. Since attention is a brand new thing, it's a brand new
code will actually go.
it's a brand new form of money, which is probably a sign that the empire will collapse. I mean, yeah, I mean having attention as a form of currency is kind of like a sign that the empire will collapse, but
ambulance sirens or fire trucks,
but it's still probably going to be a ready.
There's a little bit of audio that is incorporated as well.
Do you need to go back to break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
But it's still going to be a Ready Player One type reality soon, and all this is going to be virtual, and it's good to get started in that and get ahead of it. You know, I think that the integration need to get as ahead of it as possible, especially people that don't have much, that don't have enough money for control, or at least the power to influence and make decisions.
Like this is.
I mean, it's who knows? Who knows?
So the work of the engineers doing this.
But what I do know is that I don't have much, and I think, you know, a lot of my peers are doing well, successfully on taking care.
Made it clear. I mean, at least outside.
Of taking care of their family and have a good outlook on the way things have been status quo. But things are going to change. Things are definitely going to change.
Yeah, the sheer scale of it boggles the mind. The training amount of work with like we're working on this custom software for training and labeling.
And the more you have now,
Auto labeling is essential. Because especially when you've got like.
And the more you have now, the more it's going to matter for the future.
Surround from scratch.
And the more than what you choose, but basically how I think what will change is whatever you have more of, you'll have more options of, obviously, but how you choose to react to that and when is going to really matter. And I think that I'm really blessed to be a part of a computer and comic book store, and the guy that runs it is just kind of a why not kind of guy, you know. And
they're like correct.
And has to just like tweet, like say
and I just hope that I've done right by him, and
this is like increases productivity by like 100 or more.
Yeah. So you present the Tesla bot primarily useful in the factory. First of all, I think humanoid robots are incredible.